Hello everyone, Starltros here, bringing you a new video today. Finally, I'm coming back to Laswell and Reagan. I've been talking about those for weeks now without ever really covering them in video because I was sick when they came out. So finally I'm going back to them, also covering rounds for units that are now in the game as well, and EX bonuses for older units. And also I decided to add some music in the background. I figured it was a little more interesting than just hearing me yap nonstop for 30 minutes. So let's just add a little something and see how that goes. Because, you know, I can't get enough of hearing that song anyway. So let me know if it was not a good idea, or if it was a good idea at all. So let's get right into it. Our first unit is Distant Bloodline Laswell. His categories are Ice, Fire, Light, Water. Season 2, Rebellion, Blood of Hess. We don't really talk about this one. Gathering, Royal Arms, Guardians, Elite Soldiers, Saviors, Swordmasters. So he has a lot of categories, which makes him a very good unit. The only one that he doesn't have almost is Transcendent, and I guess Flowers, because he is not a woman. He also doesn't have Kitsunada, the Bonds category. But, you know, like, oh, he doesn't have Summoning either. But all the categories he has are the good ones. So he's going to easily fit on basically any team, so long as the elements are respected. So we're going to look at his TMR now. So his TMR is a light armor with 127 attack. And when we get to the bottom of it, there's also aquatic and insect killer 50%, and as well 500 flat attack for him. So you're always going to want to have that on him. His STMR is a materia with 50% killer for beast, aquatic, and insects, and also some chain speed. So this is not chain cap, this is chain speed, because he is a dual wielder, so that is very helpful for him. The vision card, not really anything to write home about. Slightly better than what we get usually, but still not better than the good cards we have. So it's 160 base attack as opposed to 170. So they're trying to get there, but not quite. And there's no 100% LB damage there either. His EX3 ability is 50% aquatic killer, overkiller, sorry. So some more of that. Now, if you go look at the rest of his kit, Laswell has at EX1 the 500% LB damage buff, and then at EX2 he gets 300% lightning in peril, and also 300% ice and lightning amplify for himself only. So this is not something that he can share with somebody else, it's only for him. As you can see, even though he had water and fire in his categories, he's only using ice and lightning in terms of self-support here. The rest, he has a 300% Aquan Killer that he can give to himself and a friend. Same for Insect as well. So that's very good, although it's not AoE like some other units have had, like Roka recently, and also even Season 5 Laswell, who has had that. So, you know, why go back and forth between, hey, this one can do it for everyone and this one can't? I will never understand, but whatever. Otherwise, he also has a Perfect Dispel on demand, and it's AoE, like every Laswell unit has at this point. Also, same here with the 2-stack of Evade, 2-stack Mirage, sorry, on demand as well, very good. He has a field for 200% Thunder in Peril, so he is the one that will make the Thunder team viable, although we don't quite have, you know, like for Barts, we don't have like the 200% amplify on demand to everyone with the imbue as well. I guess they realized that was kind of broken on a unit, so they're not giving it to anyone anymore, because Roka doesn't have that for ice or earth either. Anywho, he also has a 60% sword, greatsword, and katana in peril, which is really good because usually if you have Laswell, those things are going to be on the team. He has the chaining ability here. There is a mod buff here, so it's 11,700 times, which once again is on par with the chaining mods, but really not on par with the with the LB mods. So last resort use, I guess. There's also 100% amplify on that ability for his elements also, by the way, if it's worth mentioning at all. He also has a 1000% stat buff for himself only. So unlike Reagan, it's only for himself. Then he can also change his abilities to tag chaining. I don't know if this is going to include his LB. Unfortunately, we're going to look at that a little later. He also has an ability here that can go up to 10,000 damage, but needs to ramp up. So you need to use it 4 times before it reaches the full damage. It's a single cast when dual wielding, so realistically you would never be using this unless you want to use it like every turn at full modifier, because this is every 3 turns for the full modifier for this one. So maybe you'd want to do that to have him cap a chain. I don't know. Otherwise, he also has a cooldown here to recover his MP and fill his LB gauge. So it's going to be auto casting 20 every turn to fill it to 60, which is a full LB gauge, and also give back 3000 MP over 3 turns, which is pretty good. He also has a stat buff by 400% for himself, also increasing resistance to the breaks, giving 250% LB damage buff as well. Then on the next turn, it's going to cast a defense and spirit buff at 500% with 75% general mitigation and 30%. Wow, I guess that's all. That has to be all races, I guess. I don't have the unit, so I can't go and confirm. But 30% general, well, not general, sorry, 30% racial mitigation for all races, I guess. And then on the next turn, once more, yeah, it is all. Yeah. So on the next turn, once more, so after 3 turns, he gets 500% attack and magic buff, also 400% LB damage buff, and 200% killer to every race. So this is extremely good for him. Especially like for a longer fight, you can cast this. Well, I guess it's on turn 10 turn cooldown, which is not great, but it's something for 3 turns when you reach it there, which will allow you to get some consistent damage, which is pretty good. Then you got the usual imbues, nothing to write home about for these. And he also has 100% blind resist to give to the entire team, which is completely useless because I don't think that there's any boss that uses only blind that you don't really like work around another way, or that you don't bring another unit that can take care of it, but it's there, if ever. For his passives, well, we do have the usual things for the newer units with the EXLB mod buff. We do have the dual wield chain cap. He has a boost skill. His boost skill is to fill the LB gauge for the first 3 turns. He does have some guts. He has some chain speed, so with his STMR, he's going to start at 200 chain speed, which is basically making him the same as a one-handed weapon user in terms of like starting point, so that's pretty good. And that's it. He doesn't have anything else really worth mentioning. His leader skill is for lightning or rebels, and it's 1700% attack and magic buff. He does have overdrive. As usual, overdrives are everyone has 2 different overdrives. He is on the same model as Rain, Season 1 Rain that we had, Memories of Departure Rain. So the first one here is only for himself. It is going to count down with Rebellion allies, but this is only applied to himself. So 1000% all stat buff, which will stack with his Magnus ability for another 1000, meaning he can reach big PP stats. Then 50% category, well, damage amplify for himself, and also 400% LB damage for himself only once again. So pretty good, same as Memories of Departure Rain. His other overdrive, which is for everyone, this is an overdrive field for 100% damage for Rebellion allies. Rebellion and lightning always go hand in hand, and lightning, I mean the element, not the character, although that kind of also goes hand in hand anyway. So he's very good for a lightning team. Rebellion goes very well with that. His LB now, it's an LB that is multi-elemental, so you choose the element you want. The LB is going to do Sword, Greatsword, and Katana in peril 60%, so you don't need to use as Magnus if you're going to be using the LB. Also breaks defense and spirit by 88%. So, you know, it's not like the greatest, but it's good still. And it is going to also, I kind of skipped that, but it's also imperiling the element you're using by 200%, which is extremely good. Because some characters we're still using to this day are using this on a Magnus ability for once per fight. So he can apply the imperil consistently, which is great. And the damage, the mod itself, sorry, is the classic 2025. So on par with everyone, and he is an AMOE chainer. So that would be it for Laswell. Next we have Hero of Palladia Reagan. His categories are Lightning, Fire, Ice, Wind. He is also a Breaker and Support, Season 2. Rebellion, Gathering, Royal Arms, Elite Soldiers, and Sword Masters. He is a little more limited in terms of categories because he doesn't have Guardians, he doesn't have Saviors, which are pretty big categories right now. Crystal as well is pretty good. He has none of these, so he's a little harder to fit on certain teams. But on Ice, which is, Gathering and Ice, which would fit very well together, he's going to be good. Royal and Ice as well. And then Rebellion and Lightning. And I think even Royal and Fire do have some components. Or no, that's Elite Soldiers, sorry. Yeah, Elite Soldiers and Fire. So you can make him work, but if you're making some hybrid teams, or like sometimes he's going to be hard to fit with a leader skill, is what I found by using him, because I did pull him randomly, like I was pulling for Laswell, if I remember correctly. No, that's not true. I was pulling for Reagan and I got him. Never mind. So his TMR is a light armor with 162 attack, also giving 30% fire, ice, and lightning resist, and 100% dual wield equipment stat. Also 500 flat attack, so very good for him. Oh, sorry, that's the STMR. Never mind, that's the STMR. The TMR is only a Stone and Plan Killer 50% and 50 dual wield attack as a materia. So yeah, kind of forgettable, but the STMR is pretty good. His vision card, they decided to do something a little different for him, which is cute but useless. So it's giving 150 attack, 150 defense. Also, it gives 60 fire and ice resist. A little bit of attack and defense, and both percentage and flat stats. He's not a tank, but he can tank a tiny bit with an Omni Cover skill we're gonna see. But I don't think that defense is gonna make or break the unit, so don't use that card. His EX3 materia is Plant Overkiller 50%. And now for his kit, as is customary now, EX1 he only gets the 500% LB damage buff. At EX2 he is going to get 300% Amplify for Lightning for himself and a friend, and also 300% Amplify for Fire and Ice only for himself. So as you can see here, he has more elemental coverage in his own support than Laswell did have. He's also more friendly. He's going to share some stuff with the team. But Wind is not in his wheelhouse at all. He just has the tag for now anyway. There's no real big use for Wind for him as far as I'm concerned in the units I have. The rest of his kit, he does have here 300% Human Killer for himself. He has two different cooldowns. So one which is only for one ally, and another one down here which is for for himself and a friend. So he can give 300% Human Killer to three units, and also he has the same for Insect as well. So 300% to him to someone, and then 300% to himself and a friend. So 3 units covered by 300%, pretty good. He has only triple cast, which makes him very busy during fights because he has a lot of things he can do. His imbue abilities are also damage abilities, which is a little unfortunate in my opinion because sometimes you don't want to deal damage. If you watched my Vision World clear when I made a critical mistake by just reusing this for fun, I pushed a threshold I shouldn't have. And you know, sometimes some units, some bosses will counterattack and you don't want to counterattack on a setup turn. But you know, life is life. And also, his LB is non-elemental, so you have to imbue him. Other than that, he has a skill here that unlocks another skill, which I think doesn't change much. It's just more LB fill, if I'm not mistaken, but we're going to look at it later. He has a cooldown for a 200% amplify field for lightning. I said it was Lastwell that would be bringing the whole team together, but it's actually Lastwell and Reagan together that will do it. He also has a 100% amplify field for fire, ice, lightning, and wind. So if you're using multiple elements, you could use that. Otherwise, stick to 200% and go with lightning or whatever other element you're using that he can fit. He has 91% defense and spirit break. On demand 90% for those as well, with 180 in peril for his 4 elements, which also has a 50% sword in peril. His chaining ability, same as Lastwell, it's 11,700 times. Also gives the 100% amplify. He has a mitigation move here, which gives 500% stat buff, 50% mitigation, it's only to himself, and then some MP and HP regen. However, do not make the mistake that a lot of people have made. Only use this when you know you can refill his LB, because this is using 30 LB stones to cast. So if you cast this on the turn before the kill, you need to refill his LB, otherwise he won't be able to use it. He has another ability with here with a little bit of resist for fire, water, and light, so only 60%, and a 350 stat buff for everyone as well. You know, it's not a make or break thing, but that can help sometimes for some bosses while you're preparing and you just want to survive some attacks. And he has an Omni cover here, which is actually pretty handy for himself. He has a Magnus ability that can also revive everyone who died, so that's once per battle, but that's, you know, it can be useful every now and then if you make a mistake during a fight, or if you're doing a fight where, you know, there's unblockable death or something. Well, he can bring them back for at least once. He also has a Magnus ability for 1000% stat buff for himself and a friend, so unlike Lastwell, he shares the goods, so that this is extremely good, with especially the 300% killer buff that he brings as well. In terms of the passives, well, as I'm going to sing the same song as usual. He has the same things as everybody else who are dual wielders, blah, blah, blah. He does have a couple of immunity to style summons, which is nice to have innately. And he also has 100% chain speed to start. So just like Lastwell, but he doesn't have anything included on his TMR or his TMR. So he's gonna start a little lower. In terms of the skill that he unlocks is a 20 LB refill for himself, as opposed to an 8. If I am not mistaken. Oh, it's 8 AoE here, but he gets 20 to himself only with that. So I guess he can be selfish every now and then, but don't hold it against him. His leader skill is 1700% attack and magic for ice or royal arms. It's a little harder to make fit with the current, the current units. The units we had upon his release, because now it fits maybe a little better for ice if you're using Roka, with which he has like the 200% imperil field. So ice is back on the menu, which feels great. His overdrive, so he has 2 as usual. One is for rebellion. It's a 70% category buff, category amplify, and the other one is a 600% LB damage buff for gathering allies. So that works very well with Laswell, who fits all these categories. His LB is a bit different than what we're used to, so I actually appreciate what they're doing here. So his LB is still 2025 in terms of damage. He has two different LBs, and they aren't elemental. So the first one is for a 500% stat buff, 400% LB damage buff to everyone, and then he deals the damage and chains AMOE. And the other one is for a 91% defense and spirit break, along with the damage. So if you've already used the Magnus and you're going for another burst, you want to have him open the chain so that he can break again. If you haven't, if you've already bursted once and you've used all your good abilities, we're talking for longer fights here. This is not going to be useful for dark visions. This is really for longer fights. So you could use him first to open the chain and give a good stat buff to everyone and a serviceable LB damage buff to everyone as well. So that's actually very good. Like you just want to use him to open chains basically. So yeah, that's really nice. I like that they're doing different stuff for once. Going out of the, coloring outside the lines, let's say. I like that because I can't color inside the lines myself. Now we're gonna go look at crowns. So for crowns, we have Jill here. For some reason, they gave her last name on global. So it's just the usual for like the same thing as everyone's been getting for the past couple of months. So she is getting an upgrade here to this passive ability for 2500 flat attack, and also LB modifier buff that is for the entire fight. For 820 times, which brings her to, well, with everything factored in, obviously 1800 times. So she has, the on par with everyone else who's been getting crowns mods. So she can be used again on a gathering ice team. The only problem she has is her utility has been massively power crept, so you need somebody else to amplify for her because her amplify is only 100%. And that's pretty bad nowadays, but she can be used again, and she can actually be pretty useful because 1800 times, if she's getting the overdrive buffs for, like, say, elite soldiers or gathering or ice or whatever you're getting, that can really push her with some very good damage. Next we have Secret Destiny Shinobi Yuffie. So once again, very same thing. It's kind of unfortunate because the series of crowns that they gave here was for ice units, because it was just before Roka came out and ice was becoming great again. And what they did here is they only buffed her LB, which is Earth. So she is sticking out like a sore thumb. And like Jill, same thing. She's getting a little bit more flat attack because she's a little more outdated, and her LB modifier buff is 890 times to bring her to, you guessed it, 1800 times. Now we have Terra, so Esper's hidden power Terra, who is a little bit different here. So her crowns, are pretty much the same, but still the numbers are different is what I want to say. So she's getting a flat 2000 magic, and the modifier buff she gets is 830 plus the 120 from the cooldown ability, so it's 950. So 950 gives her 1770, which is not 1800, slightly under. However, since she has focus as a mage, it pulls her slightly higher. And I will say I used her on my Vision World team with Roka. She has good potential for coverage in terms of categories, because she's a guardian, she's gathering, she's a rebel as well. So she's very easy to fit on a team. So a rare W for an old unit. So let's go, Terra. So long as you don't use fire magic on me, I'll be happy. Now we can move to the next part, which is the EX abilities. So New Garden Tidus. I don't remember what was the problem with this one. Let's go look. So EX bonus, he is getting a 200% water amplify for himself, also 400% LB damage buff, and 400 times LB modifier. He's also getting a 100% water amplify field. He already had that. What else is he getting? Not this. Oh, chain gap increase, nice. 4,500 flat attack, and also a modifier buff for his LB. So the modifier buff for the LB is 740. So if we go look, he's a little more complicated to calculate because we do have this ability here for an 80 times extra modifier, and I think that doesn't his LB also give more? Or his shifted LB has something? Let me look. I remember it was a little bit more of a headache. No, not here. Oh my god. Older units. Oh yeah, this one here. The older units are a little bit of a headache. So we have 100 here. We have 80 from the other cooldown, and we have the 400 for this. So this is 580 plus the 100 from his STMR. So that's 680. And we add to that 740, which is 1420, which we go add to his maximum modifier here, which brings him to, you've guessed it, 1800 times. Actually, yeah. So he's on par with he gets on par with the newer crowned units, for one burst at least, because there's a Magnus ability involved here in getting him the maximum modifier, and as an older unit, it's pretty nice. It's just that it's EX abilities, so you need to have tons of copies of him to fuse them together to get it, which sucks, but otherwise. Also, the other problem is just using him was a pain. Well, I guess this one is a single hit, so it's fine, but he was a little convoluted to use. And his base LB was one of those nightmare chains that was 27 hits, but it definitely wasn't Bolting Strike, and the timing for it was a nightmare. Memories of using Balthier forever ago, and trying to have him chain with Vaughn or even Tidus himself, so that was those weren't the days. Next one we have here is Fabled Guardian Jack. So as you can see, they're going for a FF10 EX abilities, EX bonus, sorry. So for Jack, what they did is still not enough, but it's, they tried. So what they're giving him is a 200% amplify, also 400% LB damage buff, and 500 times LB modifier buff for his physical scaling LB, because this is physical tank Jack, by the way. So the NV base Jacked. Also, he gets a 88% attack and magic break. This is only for 2 turns, so effectively 3. Other than that, what else is he getting? I think it's just the modifier buff after that. Yeah, so he's getting an extra 3000 defense, flat defense, and also the LB modifier buff. And the LB modifier buff is 2050 times. Don't let that fool you. It is still garbage because it is for defense scaling, and unfortunately, leader skills don't affect defense a lot, only 200%. So that is still not enough. So 250 plus 500, well, that's 2550. 2550 plus his LB means 2900 times modifier, and considering defense as an offensive stat is still trash, You will never be using this anyway for significant damage. I guess if you're using him as a tank, at least he can contribute somehow a little bit, but he's not going to be dealing any damage, let's be honest. Next, we have Ronso Warrior Kamari. I think they did something a little different with him. I haven't looked at this in a while. So he is getting a 200% Water and Light Amplify for himself. Also 400% LB damage buff. 500 times modifier for his LB. So as you can see, like literally the same as the others. And he also gets focus off of this. He also gets a 87% attack and magic break, along with 89% defense and spirit break. And it's also going to imperil water and light, so both of his elements, by 180% and 40% spear imperil. I don't know why they didn't give like at least 50, but whatever. And the other thing was in the passives, and I think it affects this jump as well. Yes. So he's getting 4,500 attack in flat attack and magic from this, and it also increases his jump modifier by 2,590 times. I haven't done the math for it because I don't remember all the equipments for the jump gear, but we can just take a quick look at it with just his own modifiers. And also he gets an LB modifier buff. The LB modifier buff is for 720. Since it is magic, he doesn't get anything different than just you know, the modifiers that he can use. So he has this for 720. He has that sorry, that up here for 500. So and does he have anything else? I don't think he had anything else innately, did he? Not here. Not here. No, okay. So that's 1,220. Bringing him to 1,700 times. A little lower since he's a mage and he's got focus, I guess. So 1,700 times for him. Which is not as great, but you know, it's serviceable for a unit that I bet no one's ever used. Now for his jump, let's say 2,600 times because it's gonna be easier. He has some modifier buffs here. So that's 20, let's say 2620. 2770. 2770, yes. 2950, okay. What? Yeah, 2950, okay. I was like, wasn't that the same number? It's 2590. So 2950 times jump modifier without using any of the gear. So just did the calculator real quick. $29.50 times 8. Oops. Well, I guess it's actually kind of serviceable. I'm not sure about my math, but it looks like it might. Oh wow, have they made Dragoons worth it again? Well, no, definitely not, because of all. Oh yeah, that's the thing. He can't get any amplify because he stays in the sky for 3 turns. Yeah, he can't be affected by amplify, so that's why. Because I was like, oh, it's looking like a 2,000 times, like around 2,000 times modifier for an LB, which made no sense. I guess I didn't factor in the overdrives anyway, so that's why I'm not a math guru anyway. Here we are. But, you know, his jump is probably serviceable still. Now, last but not least, we have... no, actually, no, sorry, she's not last. Well, last for FF10, we have Besaid Mage Lulu, so that was Break Her Lulu. Here we look at her EX bonuses. So she gets the same as all the others, but the difference for her is she's getting 400 times modifier, so the 200% amplify and 400% LB damage. She also gets a 90% defense and spirit break with 180 water imperil and 40% rod imperil. So not bad for that, actually. Pretty good. The problem is just you have to bring her, and you have to actually get those buffs. She gets 5,000 flat magic and also a modifier buff for her LB of 1,050 times. So that's 1450. 1450 plus this makes 1,700 times, just like Kamari, but she's a breaker, so actually kind of good. I will say like for buffing older units, for budget options for older content, that's actually very good. Maybe she could come on a Flower of the Battlefield clear for True Grace of Water if you haven't done this. Most people have. I know I was the only like lazy dude that that would wait forever to do it. But if you haven't, maybe she can help you for that. Last but not least, now we have Ultimate Regina. So Ultimate Regina, as the old Regina, is one of those gimmicky units where you use tons of modifier buff and you just let her rip for one big hit. So her EX bonuses, here she gets a cooldown reduction, so to be able to use her ability more than once, I guess. So yeah, because that's 33, 65, 95, and so basically it's 98 turns that it removes a cooldown of. So yeah, she gets more use of that. Anyway, next, is it all she gets? Oh no, here. She gets focus on this, and this is a 300 times modifier to the to her Regina Cannon ability. Otherwise, I think the rest is in here. So she gets 3,000 flat magic. She gets a modifier buff to Regina Cannon, which is the non-cooldown ability, the one that she needs to unlock and have the whole party help. So that's why it's such an outrageous modifier, because she needs the whole team to buff it to make it like better. So it's still not worthwhile, even though this number looks insane. So 15,375 times on top of all the other modifier buffs that she gets. And then for the other, which is... Oh, wait. Is that both Regina Cannon? Yeah. Regina Cannon plus 1, 2, 3, 4. And... Oh, yeah, okay, I get it. So this one applies to both. Okay. So this one here is for both Final Regina Cannon and the regular Regina Cannon, whereas this one is just for Regina Cannon. Okay, so I guess the regular Regina Cannon is getting... Oh my god, they're making me like do mental gymnastics to calculate this. 17,210 times modifier buff. I'm sweating now. Otherwise, she is not getting anything else in terms of EX abilities, so her LB is not changed at all, because her LB is basically just serving to give the modifier buffs for her abilities. So she's still a convoluted unit to use. I haven't tried her out to see like, oh wow, can she hit hard? Maybe she can, but I can't be bothered, because you can't ever like use her before turn 4, because you need to use this. And then you need to use the entire team to buff her, so that's kind of weird. And I don't think putting all your eggs in a single basket is usually the way to go. So that would be it for the coverage of the banner that I've been procrastinating on for ages. One more thing I would like to cover today is the next banner that will be coming on June 30th. So the news dropped today. We are getting the second part of the Season 3 banner to follow up on Roka. Basically, this should have been part 1, but for some reason they were... Well, I guess it's probably because of the elements and the synergy that Roka could bring. Because usually they open a banner with, you know, like the 2-unit banner and a series event, and then they go in with the raid, but now they started with the raid with Roka, and now they're going with a series event with Fina and Daisy. So Google Translate gave me here Bond creating light Fina and friend protecting shield Daisy. So fancy names. And if we look at Fina, she is going to be a magic damage dealer, healer, and support. She will have a boost skill, overdrive, and leader skill, as is customary now for the main unit of the banner. And Daisy here, who is as dramatic as always, because she's an actress. She is a physical damage dealer, physical tank, and magic tank. I have been told, because I don't remember, that Memories of Departure Rain also had both tags. And you know, Memories of Departure Rain isn't really a tank because he only has an Omni cover. I hope that they give her at least physical cover, like, you know, regular physical cover, but she has a good Omni coverage as well. On a low cooldown would be great. If she only has an Omni cover, she will kind of be, I won't say trash, but she will certainly be more forgettable. So we'll see in 2 days when the data drops. So June 30th, I will make another video covering these 2 units. And I guess I forgot to mention that Daisy's getting overdrive and leader skills, but at this point, like, SLB units don't really exist anymore. I think the last one we had was what? Well, the SBB units, I guess. And Kane, I think I want to say Kane would be the last one we got. Anywho, so yeah, so look forward to that in 2 days. So thank you for finally joining me for this blast from the past, and that banner that no one really wanted to hear about, I guess. Anyway, yeah, thanks for joining. Hopefully you had luck on your pulls, and I will see you guys in 2 days for the next video. Bye!